So let's talk a little bit more about that big battle between Walmart and Amazon. Joining us now is Stephanie Wissink, retail equity analyst at Jefferies. Stephanie, thank you very much for joining us on the Fast Line tonight. You've heard the traders bally it about. In your mind, is Amazon still the preeminent way to play retail versus Walmart?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think I tend to agree with the traders that are suggesting why not both. I think if we're talking about prescription medications as a proxy for why two can win and not one, 48% of the U.S. population uses a prescription medication every 30 days, and there's 4.5 billion retail prescriptions that are filled every year. That is ample playground for both Walmart and Amazon to win, at least in the medium term. And I think in order to pick one or the other, we needed to get into a pretty clear duopolistic situation, and we're not even close to that yet.
All right, it's the battle for the consumer, Stephanie, but I wonder when it comes to opportunity, Amazon getting into prescription drugs and delivery of these types of products, it's a disruptive force, there's no doubt. But take a look at Walmart's customer base and who uses their pharmacy delivery, and then look at the Prime membership roster. Where is the bigger opportunity? Amazon encroaching in on spaces like for CVS Health and Walgreens and Walmart, or Walmart trying to make some inroads versus Amazon in this type of market?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think I would agree again with the panel that Walmart, from an opportunity perspective, has much further of a gap to close. And at the same time, I think we have to recognize that Amazon is changing consumer expectations every single day. And so the more they get involved in these categories, while they may not be the number one share owner in the category, they are going to change consumer expectations. And that has direct derivative implications on how these retailers have to react.
Hey, Stephanie, it's Tim. Thanks for joining us. A theme that I've been pounding in other sectors as well, where there is the possibility to have a hybrid multiple of sorts. I think Walmart's the perfect case. And what's the right number for a company that's growing e-commerce sales disproportionate to the rest of their business? Ticket sizes growing higher, even if actual transactions are down because of e-commerce. Do you keep the same multiple, or can we run it up one or two turns and get a very different price?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the multiple here is deflated relative to the opportunity set. So if we continue to see the e-com business grow, I think we have to recognize that Walmart has the ability to fulfill from store, and that is a proximity advantage that they have. And in the prescription business, that's going to become even more important because the vast majority of prescriptions are filled same day. So that the ticket is written and that prescription is filled. So if we look at those immediacy type categories, grocery, prescription, those are going to be the areas where having that physical presence is going to win. And then I'm really interested to see it. We saw Walmart put up great numbers today, and it was broad-based across the entire portfolio. And so it's not just isolated to grocery, but it really is across general merchandise categories as well. So I think we have to give Walmart some credit that they're battling the big giants in their specialty, or a company like Amazon, which is kind of an all-encompassing online broadlines company, that Walmart is holding its own share, and in many cases is gaining. So I think there is opportunity for both of these companies to coexist, and the multiple should reflect that. With an e-commerce business that's growing near 80%, pretty reputable for a company of Walmart's size.
Stephanie, it's Karen. Thanks for being on. My only, I guess, the only fly in the ointment of the call was I wanted more on Walmart Plus, and they really didn't give it, and that made me think they didn't really give any, not guidance, but any sort of color around it because maybe it wasn't performing as well as they hoped. Did you share that, or do you have a different view?
No, I think we all were left a little bit underwhelmed with the lack of disclosure around Walmart Plus. I think there's a lot of enthusiasm around what that platform could mean for Walmart. So there's still an intense level of curiosity around what the size and scale of that business is, and ultimately just how big that CRM could be. I think a couple of the breadcrumbs they left for us, though, is that they did indicate they were pleased with the initial uptake. So I think you're seeing early adoption be in line with, or maybe even a little bit ahead of what they were expecting. But I think the value is really going to be created in how that data is used and what those customers share back with Walmart about their interests and their indications, and how that allows Walmart to be even better at targeting and building bigger baskets with those consumers. So it feels a bit like it's a feedback loop right now, and maybe in the future it becomes more of a platform of opportunity. And I do think there's a monetization strategy down the road. You know that Walmart does also have a bit of a media or ad business, and they have a big marketplace model in their online business as well. So I can see how they're looping together some various and different strategies which ultimately at the end of the day is going to kind of put the consumer at the center and wrap around the consumer with all of these different monetization opportunities.
It's a key battle for sure. Stephanie Wissink over at Jefferies, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, guys, it wasn't just Walmart and Amazon on the retail front today. We heard from Home Depot as well. Strong earnings there, blowout same-store sales growth. But the stocks struggled just like Walmart's did. Guy, I'm wondering for your take here. What's up? These are great numbers. Walmart and Home Depot both giving up gains today.
Yeah, I think in terms of Home Depot, maybe people look at valuation and say maybe it's stretched. You know, you've actually seen this before with Home Depot. It's not like we haven't seen an earnings report, the stock sell off. So it doesn't concern me as much. I think Home Depot is still really firing on all cylinders. The only real reservation I think people have comes in the form of valuation. And, you know, I know in 1976, Tim remembers this, Dom, you probably weren't around yet, but Mary McGregor recorded a song. And as Tim will tell you, it's called Torn Between Two Lovers. So that's why, yeah, exactly. Like so that's why I'm playing Would You Rather. Feeling like a fool. Loving more than you's breaking all the rules. And I don't want to break the rules, which is why in the game I'll take Walmart. I understand why you'd want to own them both. But I think Walmart has more upside. In terms of Home Depot, you give it a couple days, I think you buy it again, Don.
All right, so Dan Nathan, I'm kind of curious. Music references aside, we had a real, almost secular tailwind, it felt like, for these home improvement type companies, and COVID just exacerbated it. It's not just low interest rates. It's not just government stimulus checks. These stocks have gone up even without some of these tailwinds. Can it continue, and what drives the next leg higher?
Well, I think it's probably seasonal, Dom. I think that you got to look back and you look at those government stimulus checks. They had a lot to do with it, the forced lockdowns. So we're going into a period right now where the virus is surging again. We're not having forced lockdowns and we don't have fiscal stimulus. And we probably pulled forward a ton of demand. I know we had a conversation a few weeks ago about Whirlpool into their earnings report, and we were kind of debating whether this is a multi-leg story or is it ready to take a pause. And you saw what happened after their results. So to me, I think that Lowe's, Home Depot, I think these can take a pause. I think it's going to be a long winter here, and I'm not certain that there's enough stimulus behind a weakening economy right now that is going to keep this trade going. We may have to revisit in the spring.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.